Hello, and welcome to another stream. We are going to be playing What Remains of Edith Finch. I've heard good things. I know I've missed the boat on this. It came out quite a long time ago, but I'm here for the story. So we're going to dive into this walking sim and see if it can make me cry. Somewhat whimsical so far. We have a boat. There. Nice.
A lot of this isn't going to make sense to you, and I'm sorry about that. I'm just going to start at the beginning, with the house.
Huh. What are we wearing there? Is that an engagement ring? Leaf.
I lived here until I was 11, but I wasn't allowed inside half the rooms.
That house looks wild. Huh. It's a fun mailbox.
Inside the mailbox were bills from 7 years ago, marked urgent, open immediately.
7 years ago. Close that up. Look, stuffed full of old newspapers.
I hadn't been back since my brother Lewis's funeral. In her will, my mother left me a key, but didn't tell me what it unlocked.
Oh my gosh.
Maybe she thought I'd know. Or she thought that the mystery would be enough to bring me back.
We already have a dead brother and mother. We're looking to be up there on the sad scale.
No one had driven this way in a long time, but I saw a few hoof prints.
It's a deer. Hello. Goodbye.
The truth is, even after I inherited the house, I never thought I'd come back to it. But now I had questions about my family that only the house knew the answers to. The house was exactly like I remembered it, the way I'd been dreaming about it.
This house is wild.
As a child, the house made me uncomfortable in a way I couldn't put into words. Now, as a 17-year-old, I knew exactly what those words were. I was afraid of the house. I hoped the key might unlock the front door. It didn't.
Whoa. Get in there.
Looking in, I felt like the house itself had been waiting for me.
Yeah. So, if the missing is missing, I can't look at that. Okay, well, if the key doesn't open the front door, what does it open? Can I climb in a window somewhere? Huh? No. Missing Milton Finch. I'm guessing that's the brother. A side door. Some wind chimes.
Crawling through the doggy door used to be a lot easier when I was 11.
Where are we now?
The power had been turned off the night we left.
Well, that's pretty.
For the first time in years, I felt like I was home.
Huh.
But instead of a family, there were just memories of one.
Big memory of Lewis Finch. So Milton wasn't the brother. Who was Milton out there who was missing? Milton's not a name on here either.
Like how only one restaurant would deliver to our house, so we had Chinese a lot. Or how after Lewis started working at the cannery, we all got sick of eating salmon. Except our cat, Molly. The table was still a wreck from the night we left. It was like a bomb had gone off, killing everyone but sparing the furniture.
Looks like they left in a hurry, dang. Edie. Grandma, I guess?
My mom was the only one of us who could imagine Great Grandma Edie living in a nursing home.
Great grandma.
Nothing in the house looked abnormal. There was just too much of it, like a smile with too many teeth.
Fair. Damn, they have books everywhere. And empty shelf space. You have empty shelf space. Why not put the books
Even
there?
the fireplace had a story. Edie told me the bricks came from the original house, after it sank.
Oh. Coffee table. Propped up on more books. They have so many books. Wow, I wonder if these pictures, I bet they're pictures of like one of the developers' families or something. Either that or I guess they could just be like free use stuff online, a lot of them. Well, I mean, these certainly look like clip art or something, but Barbara.
Great Grandpa Sven built a music box for Barbara, along with the rest of the house.
Barbara. Finch. My friend Bigfoot. She had actress? Director? See, there's a basement. I'm not sure if I want to go that way yet. Kitchen. Huh. What you want to bet the key opens that?
My mom wasn't much of an optimist, but she never stopped believing that my brother Milton was alive.
Wow, so Lewis died, and Milton is the other brother and went missing. Good lord. Or was Lewis, maybe Lewis was her dad, in which case he died. And then they had a funeral for Milton.
A lot of things got left behind in the whirlwind of that last night.
What happened? This door is sealed off. Wasting time.
Mom always told me to stay out of the basement, so I wasn't too surprised when the key didn't fit.
Why did Mom tell her to stay out of the basement and keep it locked? That seems dark. There's just no... I'm surprised that there's no, like, reactionary dialogue or anything for that door.
After Milton disappeared, Mom sealed up all the bedrooms. Then Edie retaliated and drilled peepholes.
Oh. So they're all sealed up.
Molly always seemed like a girl I could imagine being friends with, if she hadn't died in 1947.
How many fucking kids died? Alright, hold on. Now that I know I can do that, I want to look in this people.
Edie told me once that every Finch who ever lived is buried somewhere in the library.
I don't know if I like that. It's kind of dark. Okay. They have so many books. This is madness. They're everywhere. Alright. What is that? It's a little mask.
I spent a lot of time playing in Great Uncle Walter's room. I think my mom sometimes regretted not sealing it up.
Why didn't she, I wonder?
Lewis told me there were secret passages, but I never believed him.
Huh.
Turns out, my mom was really good at keeping secrets. Now it was time to find out what my mom had been afraid of.
Okay, we'll come back to that. Let me peep in these other holes. It sounded... Well, it didn't sound great. Well, Sven and Edie, rather. Oh, 210.
The last time I was in Edith Sr.'s room, I was 10 and she was painting my portrait.
Wow, this house seems so fun, though. Like, I mean, the books everywhere is a little out of hand, but all the painted
My Grandpa
walls,
Sam spent
doors.
7 years sharing a room with his dead brother, Calvin.
does that mean?
As a kid, I just assumed every house had peepholes and sealed rooms you weren't allowed inside of.
Yeah, I guess this is wild. It's like such a quirky, strange, but also kind of beautiful home. But then it's like there's like some kind of weird, creepy element going on too.
Whenever people ask me about my family, the first thing they always want to know about is Barbara.
Introducing Barbara Finch. Yeah, she must have been an actress.
Edie's father, Odin, built the original house.
Odin. Good name. Barbara's room. A lot of people died young.
Barbara was a
here,
child
man.
star for 2 years, until America grew out of it.
Time of gods. Wine.
Mom must have locked the third floor stairs on the night we left.
Interesting. Cord running from there. Where's out? Okay. Let's see what Mama's hiding.
From the paintings on the wall, it was clear my brother Milton had been here before me. Reading
That's a
this,
pretty window.
maybe it sounds like I had a plan. But I had no idea what was behind that door.
Bedrooms.
Just like I had no idea where all this was gonna lead.
Molly's room.
December 13th, 1947. Dear Diary, I'll be gone soon, but I wanted to tell somebody about what's gonna happen. It started when Mom sent me to bed without dinner. I woke up and I was starving, so I looked around for something to eat. My Halloween candy was all gone. The gerbil food was dry, but I didn't mind it.
There's no gerbil here. Just eat his food. That's spooky. Hello, fish.
I kept eating and eating.
Eating toothpaste? What is up with this house, bro?
I ate a lot of things that night. then I heard chirping outside my window. It was a barn swallow going back to her nest. I reached out for her.
She was chained in. Dude, what?
And suddenly, I was a cat.
Okay, maybe this is all bananas. Like she's actually just telling stories like a kid does.
I tried to be quiet, but the bird was really scared.
That's jeez. Where'd he go?
Mom and Dad didn't even look at me. I jumped and I almost got her. I could tell she was getting really tired. Now I was up in the big tree. I promised Dad I wouldn't climb it anymore. All I cared about was eating that mama bird. I gobbled her up. And suddenly, I was an owl. First, all I heard was the wind. Then I heard little teeth nibbling in the grass.
There's the little teeth.
Rabbits.
Gotcha.
I imagined his face looking up and seeing mine through my talons. I swallowed him up, and I didn't chew one bit. Then I flew off to find something bigger.
There's like something mildly disturbing about this.
A mama rabbit.
But it's, I don't know. It's like somewhere between fanciful, childish
She was almost
storytelling,
too
but
big
also
to
kind of
carry. I
upsetting.
started choking, but I couldn't stop eating.
See, stuff like that.
And suddenly, I was a shark.
Oh! I had to hop. Oh my god.
I rolled off the cliff and into the ocean. Now, I was hungrier than ever.
For you, fish.
I wanted fat, juicy seals.
Oh, it's
I tore off her flipper, and it tasted really good.
Where's the rest of it? Up.
I grabbed on tight. And when I was so hungry, I jumped out of the water. When I opened my eyes, everything had changed.
Am I an octopus or worse?
Now I was a monster, and I smelled people everywhere.
So weird,
I
man.
was big, but I moved real quiet. stop, but also I didn't.
I just don't know if this is just her imagination or not. It is really fucking strange and upsetting.
After the last passenger, I was still hungry. And across the water, I smelled something new. Something I had to have, so I swam towards it. I slithered onto the sand, and the good smell went into an old pipe. I got closer and closer.
Back in her bedroom.
All of my stomach started growling. And suddenly, I was me again. I held my breath for a long time, but I couldn't hear anything. I think it's waiting for me to fall asleep. But it's not going to wait much longer. It needs to feed, and we both know I will be delicious.
Okay. For starters, excellent storytelling.
I'm not sure if I believed all of that, but I'm sure Edie would have.
Like, let's say for the sake of argument, that was all just like fanciful writing, right? It was like a Lovecraftian tale, almost.
I got the sense Edie
Really
had
well
spent
done.
a lot of time here before my mom sealed the doors.
But if it really did happen to this little girl, oh my god, horrifying. I mean, again, expertly executed, like Lovecraftian / psychological horror there. Can I actually go back? There's more in there I wanted to look at. It's too late. Okay. We out here now. Trees.
This will be obvious later, but my mom never told me any of these stories. Edie would have, but Mom didn't like bringing up the past. Though, when we adopted a stray kitten, she was the one who named it Molly.
Oh.
I spent a lot of time in Great-Grandma Edie's room.
Purple. There's a lot of dead birds. Bebop. My goodness. It's a little upsetting, I gotta say.
We got along, and it was a good place to hide from my mom.
Built 1937. Sven Finch.
Edie gave a big interview about a mole man living under the Finch house. My mom was furious. I hadn't thought of myself as Edith Jr. for a long time. One summer, they evacuated the island, but Edie refused to go. For a few weeks, she was a celebrity. When Edie told people Sven was killed by a dragon, she could also have said he was building a dragon-shaped slide that collapsed. She could have, but she didn't. Her room was like a museum. For 500 years, the Finches have been famous throughout Norway for their fortune and misfortune. Odin Finch buries the latest victims of the family curse, his wife Ingeborg and their newborn son, Johan. On January 7th, 1937, he set sail with his family and his house, hoping to leave the curse behind. But 40-foot waves off the coast of Washington send the house and Odin to the bottom of the sea.
Jeez.
Odin's daughter Edie, with husband Sven and baby Molly, step ashore on their new home, Orcas Island. Odin Finch is the first to be buried in the new family cemetery. His daughter Edie is already dreaming of a new Finch house. Whatever's wrong with this family, it goes back a long ways.
So, I love that as a kind of a mechanic and also a storytelling device, the like filling in of the family tree. Region folk tales. Odin Finch joining the great majority. Huh. You read a book. He wrote a number of books. Mysteries of Death and Thereafter.
Even in her 90s, sometimes Edie seemed a lot younger than my mother. The only trace Grandpa Sam's first wife, Kay, left on the house was the pink bathroom. It was a pretty big trace.
Yeah. No joke. It's very pink. There's a secret in this bathroom by Sven and Edie Finch.
There's a secret in this bathroom. It's in the last place you would look. It isn't in the cupboard. It's hidden in this book.
Huh. Born in 50, dead 61. God, so many kids died in this house and their family.
Sven gave Sam an old camera he'd refurbished. He never put it down.
Ransom is here too. Couple turns land into a native haven. Something exhausted. see what she means. He shared a room with his dead brother. Like they roped off his dead brother's half of the room and just left it. Yeah. Joes. Secret Lives of Orange Photographers. Certificate of... Not sure what that says, that last word. Acceptance? No. Not sure. Finch National Park. Is there any reason to be up here?
I knew Grandpa Sam had a twin, and that he never talked about him.
Okay, be back. I think that's gonna open up the next passageway.
I guess my grandpa didn't like history any more than my mom did.
It's like a little shrine. Why are there so many dead kids in this family, man?
How I Want to Remember My Brother by Sam Finch. The thing I remember is that when he made up his mind, that was it. My brother said he'd die before he ate another mushroom, and he did. At Barbara's funeral, we swore he'd never be afraid again, and he wasn't. I think Calvin always wanted to fly.
Sam! Calvin! Dinner's ready! Coming!
But that day, he finally made up his mind to do it. I told him going around was impossible. Maybe if I hadn't said that.
Calvin! I'm not gonna
my
tell you
God.
again!
Maybe if the wind hadn't picked up. Then maybe he'd still be here. But I doubt it. I think he'd already made up his mind. That's what I want to remember about my brother. The day he made up his mind to fly. And he did.
Calvin's story felt strangely familiar. When I was younger, I remember trying to do the exact same thing.
Ooh, that gave me goosebumps.
After the funeral, Edie roped off Calvin's half of the room. Mom said Grandpa Sam enlisted at 18 and never set foot in the room again.
These little secret passageways are incredible.
The passages were a pretty tight fit. They'd obviously been built for smaller hands and bellies.
Take me back out.
Growing up, I always thought of Barbara as a child star.
She was, even for a short time. She died young too, man.
I never thought about how hard it must have been for her afterwards. Of all the stories people wrote about Barbara's death, I'm surprised Edie saved this one.
Old Jack here with another ghastly tale inspired by America's most unfortunate family. I'm calling it The Surprise Ending of Barbara Finch. As a child star, Barbara was famous for her scream. Now at 16, she was all washed up. A has-been. But in a lucky break, she'd been asked to perform her signature scream at a local convention for monster movie fans. It was just the boost her career needed. Unfortunately, her scream hadn't aged well.
Getting better. I think you just need the right motivation.
Her biggest fan and current boyfriend, Rick, was about to demonstrate when...
Now that was a great scream.
It was Barbara's father, Sven. He'd slipped into a table saw and had to be rushed to the emergency room. So Barbara got stuck babysitting her youngest brother, Walter. Her convention comeback was cancelled.
Okay, I'm hearing frustration, but I'm not hearing terror. What if I tried...
A gang of hoodlums in Halloween masks have been terrorizing Orcas Island tonight. Police are urging residents to...
That came from the basement.
You're right! Also, I loved your delivery on that. Why is your basement door locked?
Because my dad likes making puzzles and secret passages. There's a key hidden in the music box. The secret is to keep winding and winding until finally the key pops out.
Thanks, babe. I'll be back in a sec.
20 minutes later, Rick hadn't returned. So Barbara went to look for him, right on cue.
We're gonna go get that key.
She reached for the music box.
Oh, I'm doing it right now as Barbara.
And as she wound the key, she listened for Rick, but the house was silent.
Playing the Halloween music.
She found Rick's crutch and imagined the worst.
Certainly blood.
The gang's leader is the infamous Hookman killer, Dr. Carl Hamill, who impaled and then ate his family 10 years ago tonight.
Oh, I mean, yeah, probably your dad's blood. I forgot he cut his hand on the saw.
The old fridge rattled and grew still.
Oh dear!
Oh!
Rick?
Barb, relax. I was just trying to scare you to help you find your scream.
Well, I'm not scared, Rick. I'm furious.
Then act furious. All I'm getting from you now is that you're hurt and confused and
She threw him out, but she kept a little something to remember him by.
Barb, have you seen my other crutch?
And she was still holding it when she fell asleep watching the late picture show. Hours later...
Barbara! Walter, what's going on up there? Ah! Okay, I'm coming up, but if this is a trick, you're dead, Walter.
Uh-oh. Okay. Where are the stairs again? The Halloween music, man. There goes the skate.
Walter, are you there? Walter had vanished, but his bedside radio was still on.
Orcas Island police describe the man as 6 feet tall, with a steel hook for a hand. Residents are urged to lock all doors and windows and notify the police of any suspicious activity.
Barbara turned, saw the hook man, and was speechless. He was quite smashing. He couldn't get enough of Barbara.
Okay, Barbara, there's gotta be another way out of here.
That night, she played her part beautifully.
Out through the window.
She thought about abandoning Walter, but
Oh.
just couldn't do it.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Whoa, whoa.
Molly's door hadn't been opened in years. The hinges grow.
Beat his ass.
He wasn't moving.
Yeah, they had a hook,
She
dude.
sensed the story might not be over yet.
Let's go. Also, where is Walter? Oh, he's gone.
The hookman had vanished. She listened for his breathing, but all she heard was... Someone at the door was dying to speak to young Barbara. At the door, she heard whispering. It was coming from inside the house.
Oh dear.
Oh dear.
The monsters had come to surprise her. For Barbara, it was a dream come true. Then she saw what kind of monsters they were, and she realized what was about to happen. She was going to be famous. And with her final breath, Barbara Finch gave the performance of her life. I wasn't there myself, but I hear Barbara was magnificent. Poor girl. She had a taste for stardom. But unfortunately, so did her fans. Of course, the police blamed it all on poor Rick, who disappeared the same night. And little Walter? Hiding under his bed the whole time. He took it all pretty hard, but that's another story. As for Barbara, tucked inside the music box was all they ever found of her. Her ear. Now that's what I call a real eerie tale.
Yikes. Big yikes. Okay. Alright, that can't
Edie
all
told
be
me
as
all
good
Barbara
as
wanted was to be
Molly's story.
remembered,
But
as absurd as that comic was. Maybe what Edie saw was a happy ending.
so young. Okay, but we learned that there is probably a key in the music box.
I guess now I know why Mom didn't like me playing with the music box.
Uh-huh. Oh, and it's getting dark in the house. Which is kind of upsetting given how creepy it's turning out to be. Okay. What do we got? It's legit. Okay. Hello, dustpan. There's a pool table down here. What a waste. Stay out of the basement, but you got a whole pool table, man. Should use that thing. Not cheap. Spin.
Mom said the basement was off limits, unless I wanted another tetanus shot.
I guess that's fair. Feel like cleaning up, I suppose.
I saw Edie sneak down to the basement once, carrying packages. I thought maybe she was hiding presents. It turned out she was hiding a lot more than that.
Whoa. There's light. Yeah, like a generator or something. Whoa.
I remember asking Mom once about where Walter had gone. She said after Barbara died, he got as far away as he could.
Whoa.
If there's a pattern in all these stories, I think it's that none of us has gotten very far.
This is wild. Whole underground bunker. Oh, Walter. Wow. So did he just like come live down here after Barbara died? Like, he like stayed down here permanently, it looks like. Golly.
Goodbye, everyone. I can't believe I've been down here for 30 years.
Oh.
On that first day, after the shaking started, I didn't think I'd survive a week. But after a few days, I settled into a routine. That's what kept me sane. Having a schedule, living for today. I always expected to be dead tomorrow. But if you wait long enough, you get used to anything.
What is the shaking?
Even a monster on the other side of the door starts to feel normal. Almost friendly.
Sure, eat those peaches, man.
And then one day, everything just stopped. Whatever that thing was, it was gone. Maybe it got tired of waiting. Or maybe I just got tired of being afraid. It's been a week now, the longest in 30 years. I'm done waiting. I have to leave while I still can.
More books. Good Lord, they have so many books.
I know it's out there somewhere. Whatever killed Barbara and Molly
And Molly.
and Calvin.
And Calvin.
Maybe this is all a mistake. But I need to stop living the same day, even if it kills me. Whatever's out there, I want you to know I'm ready for it. I'm going to appreciate all of it, especially the food. I don't mind if I only have a year left, or a month, or a single week. I'd be happy with one more day. I can already imagine the sun on my face.
Megathar. Dang, man.
Walter died when I was 6. I can't believe my mom never told me he was down here. I'm sure my mom was trying to protect me.
Window. Radio is still on.
Maybe she was afraid I'd end up like Walter.
fair enough.
But if she never told me about an uncle under the house, I can only imagine what else she was hiding. I don't want to make the same mistakes she made.
But just like his waist hole.
Trying to bury something that's still alive. Now that there's only one of us left, or maybe two, I thought it was time I heard the stories for myself and found out what happened to everyone else. But now I'm worried the stories themselves might be the problem. Maybe we believed so much in a family curse, we made it real.
This is wild, man.
I don't know if I should even be writing this.
It is, I mean, it is a walking simulator, right? Like, that's a...
Maybe it'd be better if all this just died with me.
a jokey but somewhat accurate term. But it's a good one.
But I thought you should know about your family.
It's telling a really interesting story.
And the history you're a part of. Though to be honest, I feel as lost as you probably do right now. I think the people in these stories believed them, for what that's worth.
Building atmosphere really well.
And when you look at the house, that history of imagination and stubbornness and madness, any of it seems possible.
That house is bonkers. Look at that tower.
I think we've been surrounded by death for so long, we've just gotten used to it. What kind of family finishes building a cemetery before starting the house? It's embarrassing for me to admit this, but the pet cemetery made me more uncomfortable than the human one.
There's a lot of pets.
3 of the gerbils were mine, and
Shatsy.
2 had been my fault.
Derpy and Derpy Jr. Burpy, chirpy, furpy, lurpy, zerpy. Oh my god. Oh no, Bailey. It's my fiance's dog's name. I'm not gonna show her that. It'll make her cry.
Sven built the house, but it was Edie who designed the cemetery. I'm sure Odin's monument had been Edie's idea. My mom was always trying to move on, but for Edie, the past never went away. She could see it poking out of the water at low tide. Edie said she dreamed about the old house every night.
Wonder if I can get out there on the tide.
Edie's side was always easier for me to understand. But the older I get, the more I can see where my mom was coming from. Her dad had been pretty strict, but it wasn't enough to save her brothers. She was just trying to do better.
So much death in this family. Milton, no date of death. Lost.
She lost 2 of her brothers, just like I did. I get why she tried so hard to protect us.
You had an adopted brother or a close friend?
There's so many things I wish I could ask my mom now. Part of me thinks this is what she wanted all along. For me to come back someday and find everything out for myself. But looking back on it now, if she told me there was going to be so much climbing, I never would have come when I was 22 weeks pregnant.
There's a ladder over here. Oh, there's a ladder over there.
I never met Grandpa Sam, but I think he and my mom had a lot in common.
And homemade bird feeders. Got a grill up on the patio, nice.
They were both pretty intense.
The balcony, rather.
Sam spent his life shooting photos, but Mom said he got nervous being in front of the camera. I guess we're all afraid of something.
Something about saying.
Dawn, I promise, you'll never forget this weekend.
Yes, sir.
These memories are gonna last a lifetime. Perfect.
Am I gonna have to shoot anything? It's gonna rain the whole weekend, isn't it? I will never forget this weekend, Dad.
That's the spirit. Okay, got it.
I'm gonna take some pictures, okay?
Just be careful. The camera's older than you are.
You're right, Dad. It's starting to clear up. Still freezing, though. Aw.
Definitely should not have drunk all that coffee.
Hold still while I take a picture of you.
I definitely... Hey!
That's a keeper.
Nothing quite like being outside. I'm just saying, I'm not always gonna be here, Dawn. You'll need to remember this stuff, if you want to survive.
I'll be fine, Dad.
You know who else thought he was gonna be fine?
Some guy who died.
Dawn, I'm being serious.
I know, Dad. You're always serious. Doesn't being out here make you want to chill out?
Well, to tell you the truth, I haven't been out here in 20 years. Dawn, don't you think you could find something more interesting to photograph? Last time I was with my brother Calvin. Man, that was a great trip. Your grandpa Sven taught us how to fish, how to build a fire. We found an old logging trail with deer everywhere. I bet if I could remember where that trail was, we'd spot a buck for you in no time. Give me a minute to check the map. Let's see. Maybe. What was it?
Dad!
Good eyes, Dawn.
Wow.
Before you take the shot, let me get a picture of him.
Where is it? Feels like that's where she's looking, but I'm not seeing it. Or am I taking a
Dad,
picture of her?
Let me get behind you.
Do I have to do this?
Dawn, you don't have to do anything. But if you want to survive, you'll need to be strong. Great shot, Dawn!
Oh God. Really sad.
I'm proud of you, Dawn. Always remember that, okay? Sorry, Don, just gotta reset the timer.
Don't think this is what she wanted you to be proud of her for.
Dad, it's twitching. I think
That's
it's
totally normal, Don. Just focus on the camera. Try not to think about—
Dad!
Oh my gosh. Whoa. That's rough.
Of all
man.
these stories, that's the one I wish most that my mom had told me.
That's sad. I mean, a lot of these are sad. Some of them are just scary and creepy. That one's just really sad.
Instead of hiding from death, Sam seemed to go out of his way to meet it. I can't imagine my mom ever writing poetry, and yet...
A poem for Gus, who always said the wedding was a bad idea. Our father never hit us kids, at least not very hard, before the day my brother said with teenage disregard that he'd be dead before he'd see a wedding in our yard. My father made him come, of course, but Gus stood far apart, just flew his kite and bottled up the storm inside his heart. I tried to talk him out of it, but though he'd never met her, "We don't need a stepmom," were the words that
I now pronounce you husband and wife. You may kiss the bride.
When the time for photos came, Dad ordered him to come here. But Gus declined and as a sign held up his middle finger.
Okay, Gus.
The wind picked up and panicked geese appeared and quickly went. But all the humans did that day was go inside the tent. The rain came down in buckets then, but no one seemed afraid that nature might destroy the tent our dad had crudely made. The thunder sounded much too close and full of angry power. But all my father said to this was, "Make the music louder." I wish that I could truly say I thought about you on that day. Out there on the beach alone, just you, the wind, the sea, and foam. But I didn't, until we found you.
She never talked about him, but Mom told me once if I was a boy, they were going to name me Gus.
Greg, duties, be a baby.
My mom moved up to the loft after her brothers died. At the time, it was as far away as she could get. Religion was another thing my mom never talked about, but I think it helped her a lot after her dad died. She spent a summer building houses in Calcutta, where she met my dad, Sanjay.
Ah. Who is also dead.
My mom moved to India a week after graduation and got a job teaching English. Louis was born a year later. When my dad died, I don't think Mom knew where else to go. I'm sure Edie was happy to have her back. And to see kids in the house again. The house had to get a little bigger, but Edie was used to that.
So they built up the tower.
And for a while, things were good. Almost normal.
Louis rules.
But it didn't last.
To Teach and to Learn. 7 Ways to Create a Fulfilling Classroom by Dawn Finch. More than one in the family is an author. Earthquakes. Leaving volunteers dead. Wonder if those are the quakes that Walter was feeling.
The beginning of the end was Milton's 10th birthday, when Edie gave him a castle. After Milton disappeared, the only thing he left behind was a room full of paintings.
Milton was very much on the black and white motif.
I think Edie was happy to finally have another painter in the family.
these colors, but he didn't use them.
Milton Finch in The Magic Paintbrush.
Can I actually walk through his paintbrush? Or his door painting?
I was
rather?
4 when Milton disappeared.
Did he disappear because he went into his painting? Is that
Mom
real?
spent months searching for my brother. Then she sealed the doors.
I think not. I was about to freak out.
Whatever Milton had found in the house, Mom didn't want it getting out. Mom definitely blamed Edie, but I think Lewis blamed himself. After he graduated, he just spent more and more time in his room. Until Mom got him a job at the cannery. Everyone always told me to stay out of Lewis's room. Except Lewis.
Lewis is up there smoking hookahs. You don't need to hang out with him. Yeah, being up here during storms and stuff in this crazy ass rickety ramshackle tower would give me so much anxiety.
Lewis's room smelled very, very familiar. That part of him lived on.
And one ale.
Lewis and I spent a lot of time playing games together, but he was surprisingly bad at them. He died a lot.
He is fully committed to the vibes in here. Oh, he is smoking more than tobacco. Marijuana.
Dear Mrs. Finch, as Lewis's psychiatrist, I can understand your desire for an explanation.
Hey,
As I see it,
Dragontherian.
the trouble began in January, shortly after
you
we
doing?
convinced your son to seek treatment for substance abuse. Newly sober, I believe Lewis first noticed the monotony of his daily life. He kept working at the cannery.
Not bad.
But
This
he
game is
withdrew
making me
part
a
of
little
himself.
sad.
In our sessions, I saw the same behavior. His mind began to
to be expected. I assume you've played this already. Or seen it before, at least.
Wonder.
Oh my. Oh. We are... Hey, thanks for the follow, man. You played it 3 times?
I asked him to
Oh,
describe
jeez.
it.
Safe to say that you love this game.
He said
though.
he started small, imagining a labyrinth. He'd feel his way about.
I mean, I'm not done with it yet, but it is a
Then
beautiful,
something moved.
very interesting, strange
Bats.
story.
And toads.
Yeah. It keeps putting me in somewhere, I don't know, in between, like, trying to figure out
things
if
that
it's
have
all
not names.
imagination and just, like, maybe there's something off about the people in the family, or if it's, like,
He knew it was all in his head.
there is something genuinely supernatural going on. Like most of them seem to believe. I have more fish now. Oh, it opened the door.
But he took it very seriously. I had hoped he'd find himself.
Get out of here, fish.
But he found something more. I worried about him then. Daydreaming at the cannery. I spoke with his boss. But he said Lewis had become a model employee. Methodical, tireless, focused. Like a whole new Lewis. So I let him go on. I even encouraged him. It seemed very promising at first. He told me he'd made a new friend.
Dog. Is this all in his head, though?
On the edge of a city he named Lewis Toby. He built the city up slowly, brick by brick. Then he made musicians.
Lewis is just out here vibing.
And songs for them to play.
We got dudes dancing.
He talked about starting a band. And he was always humming something. Every day his imagination grew stronger.
Whoa.
He no longer spoke at the cannery. But his chopping was
It's
as
a good
reliable
tune.
as ever. Then one day it struck him that all the cheering crowds, even the stones under his feet, were all in his imagination, so he could do whatever he wished.
And thus he became king.
He held an election for mayor,
Or mayor. Okay.
and he won.
I like the Mario flag hop. Very good.
They begged him to stay, but his mind was already wandering. It became a game for him.
Sailing away.
He'd conquer a city, then immediately push on. New Louisville. St. Louis. He started drifting away from our reality.
I think that ship has sailed.
Minneapolis.
Pardon the pun.
Until one day he forgot to go home from the cannery. Even as his mother pleaded with him, part of Lewis kept sailing on.
Oh my god, he just kept rolling.
In Lewisburg, he heard rumors of a
Handsome queen, beautiful prince. I guess let's go.
handsome queen.
Whoa. Let's hit that island. I'm feeling like Lewis is not long for this world.
The queen was on her own quest for
We're gonna go Sinister Serpents. Why not?
sinister serpents.
Oh. Oh. Oh.
He followed the sound of her.
Okay. Electric sitar.
Electric sitar.
Left is best.
His chase led him to a golden palace east of the sun and west of the moon. Even then, his logic remained sound. He knew the world was all in his imagination.
This is genuinely... I'm so impressed by this game design right now.
But he was so proud of having created it.
It's like slowly overtaking the entire screen, meanwhile you're still chopping fish.
In his own eyes, he'd become something greater than a king. For someone who'd never known success in the real world, I think it was overwhelming. And then it struck him that the real Lewis was not the one chopping salmon, but the one climbing the steps of a golden palace.
It's completely detached from reality.
My imagination is as real as my body, he told me. It was hard to argue with him.
It's a fair argument. I've had that discussion a lot of times, to like, what is reality, right? Like perception versus objective reality, what other people see versus
Began
what
to
you
forget
see.
the world we know.
If it's real to you, does that make it real? Does it matter if it's real to anybody else?
I think it pained him to remember Lewis, the cannery worker.
Is Lewis straight up walking up on himself?
He began to despise the man with a royal contempt.
He's not even doing fish anymore, just hands going. Bloody.
I still thought I could save him. Even after he said he was being crowned king over all the lands of wonder. The palace would be packed with his companions.
I love their dance moves.
Including the wise Calico who'd insisted on advising him.
Yeah, I don't blame Lewis too much. This world looks awesome. Seems very happy. Yes, that's also fair that nobody has a face. That's a little creepy.
His queen waited, holding his crown. There was only one thing left to do.
There's a lot that's very unsettling in this game.
Bend down his head.
Oh no!
And the rest I think you know.
Ugh.
Mrs. Finch, your son was a kind
Yeah.
man who will be missed by all of us who knew him.
That's rough, man. Oh boy.
My brother was really cool. I wish you could have met him.
It's really rough. Yeah. Yeah. That's tough. Just that slow, like, detaching from reality. This, like, imaginary alternate self, alternate world, like, slowly overtaking him like that. And then just, like, willingly walking, putting his head into the slicer. The imagery of the gallows there as he was getting crowned. That's... Or not the gallows, I'm sorry. Forgetting what that's called.
On the way back from Lewis's funeral,
I'm going to be
mom told me
embarrassed.
start
I'm sure you
packing.
remember the name of it.
She waited until the day before we left to tell Edie. I'm not sure if she wanted to make it easier or harder.
Guillotine, yes, thank
I
you.
wish we'd stayed. But I understand why we left.
I think maybe yeah, hit me. What do you got? Game recommendations? Sure. Why not? What do you got?
My mom ended up leaving everything behind. What happened that night had been coming for a long time.
The Unfinished Swan.
Maybe it should have come sooner.
Was that before or after this? Is that the ooh. I feel like I vaguely remember something about
But
that.
it
Was
had
it
to
very
end
like
one way or another.
black and white?
All that's left now was to tell you about that last
Kind of like
night.
filling in ink or something, like that vibe. Okay. Yeah, I can look into it. Is it a... You feel like it's kind of similarly, like, on a level story-wise to this?
That whole last day, Edie just watched us pack and didn't say a word. Until supper, when she raised her glass and said,
"To our final night together, and all our final nights apart."
Grandma, you know what I said about alcohol. Some of your medications are very
Edith,
specific.
I left a present for you in the hallway. Why don't you go open it?
Given the
The
visual
grown-ups have to argue.
thing, like the bit
I'm
that I
sorry,
remember there,
you're right.
connection
We're all
to
leaving
Milton,
tomorrow. Let's just
would be
enjoy
my
our
guess.
lives.
I'm not leaving.
Edith, you're excused.
the power had been shut off that morning, but Edie always had plenty of candles.
We'll say no. I'll
When
take
my
your
mom set up the
recommendation.
library, I
I'll-
don't think she knew about the other
It's on
entrance.
PC, I assume.
Or that Edie had a key to it.
Okay. Yeah, I'll pick it up. I'll stream that too. Why not?
The thing you're afraid of isn't going to end when you leave the house.
3.
Edith has a right to know these stories.
My children are dead because of your stories. I think it's best if Edith and I leave tonight. We'll have the nursing home send a van for you in the morning, okay?
Dear Edith, there's so many stories I wish I could tell you, but there's only time for one. This is about what happened on the night you were born. That night, the tide went way, way out. It was the first and last time I ever saw the old house aground. There'd been an earthquake out in the middle of the ocean. They called it the lowest tide in 1,000 years. God, it smelled awful. You know, I've seen that house every day of my life. But I never thought I'd go back to it. When the fog rolled in, I lost my way. I got turned around.
Oh, okay.
I started seeing things. Things I'd forgotten had ever existed. But when I saw them, they felt like old friends. That night, a lot of things came back to me. Or maybe I came back to them. Things I can't explain, but that I need you to try and...
Edith, what are you doing in here?
It's mine.
Edith!
Mom, you're gonna rip it! Let go! I kicked and screamed, but Mom dragged me to the car. I never saw Great-Grandma Edie again.
Oh, that's sad.
The next morning, the van came to pick her up, but she was already gone. After that, we moved around a lot. We both tried to make the best of it. A few years went by. My mom didn't like to talk about it, but she started getting sick a lot. The rest happened pretty quickly. She got better for a while, and then she didn't. And then I was alone. The last Finch left alive. Until I found out about you.
Oh,
I'm
that's
still
right.
not sure what to tell you about all this.
I forgot she was pregnant.
If we lived forever, maybe we'd have time to understand things. But as it is, I think the best we can do is try to open our eyes. And appreciate how strange and brief all of this is. This journal was supposed to be for you.
We're the baby right now? Is that what's happening?
But now I hope you'll never see it. I just want to meet you. And tell you all these stories myself. But I guess if you're reading this now...
Oh no.
Things didn't work out that way. This is where your story begins. I'm sorry I won't be there to see it. It's a lot to ask, but I don't want you to be sad that I'm gone. I want you to be amazed that any of us ever had a chance to be here at all. Good luck.
Nobody in this family survives. This is so sad. Ugh. Wow. That was good, man. Yeah, definitely. I feel like there's so much left up to interpretation too to pick apart. Like, I couldn't decide for a long time. I'm still kind of iffy on it as to whether, like I was saying earlier, whether it is they just have a really awful string of bad luck, or they are cursed in some fashion, or if there is some kind of like supernatural, especially like when you go back to like Molly's story at the beginning, there was like that Lovecraftian like Cthulhu-esque thing happening where she like slowly changed into all these different animals until she became this like sea beast or something that went after her, it seemed like. I don't know, man. It's wild. I think maybe... I don't know. The Lewis one was really tough. What happened to Molly, you mean? Yeah, I'll take your theories. What do you got? I think for me, the Lewis one was very tough. Maybe Gregory, I think was his name. The baby, that might have been the hardest for me. That's just so rough, man. Oh, Dev Kid pictures. Poisonous. Do they, I might be talking out my ass a little bit. Do hollyberries also, can they cause, like, hallucinations? Or could that all just be kind of explained by her body sort of shutting down? They do, okay. Wow. Yeah? That would explain it. Huh. That's just so wild, though. This whole family, like... You've heard conflicting stories on that. On the hollyberries, I imagine. Let's look it up. Poisonous people and pests. Pets, rather. Swallowing them can cause vomiting, diarrhea, dehydration, and drowsiness. The toothpaste definitely didn't help, I'm sure. Yes. Googling images, definitely hollyberries. That is absolutely what they looked like. I don't know if they can cause like hallucinations, but I assume like if you're all that other stuff going on as you're just kind of shutting down, like that can definitely happen. you always hear stories about people who are like dying who see things, you know, or like people who have died and have been brought back say that they saw things. You know, sometimes it's like your classic white light or whatever, and other times it's more fantastical, strange. Wow. Very good. Very good game. Well, shoot. Yeah, true. Walter was just, I don't know, it was just sad that like his whatever happened to his sister, because that one was not like clearly explained. Like I could have been like what was in the comic or whatever, right? But assuming it was not quite that fantastical and it was kept more for the like the key accuracy and just like Edith was saying, like the fact that she was remembered, like Edie kept it around for that reason. Whatever happened to her messed him up enough to like want to hide out for 30 years in a bunker, and then immediately he goes out and gets hit by a train. Oh man, I'm really sorry to hear that. I'm glad he didn't. That's tough. I hope you're in a better place now. I'm glad. About 1,400 miles from where you did that. Big move. Wow, did you move like to a new country? New state. Okay. Hey, I don't know. It's it's a lot of miles. New York to Iowa to Arkansas. Wow. Any particular reason, like work related or? You don't have to share. Of course, I don't want you to feel obligated if that's something you don't want to share. Okay. That is a fair enough reason for sure. Hey, that's awesome. I'm happy for you. And congrats on the marriage. Nine years. Wow. Way to go.